Hello, everybody. This is Mahadev, the Thunder Wizard. I hope you are all doing well this evening, morning, afternoon, whatever the heck it is, wherever you are. So, I'm being honest, I didn't really know what to talk about today. Um, I've been doing a lot of work getting ready for my trip to Australia. And in any case, I've also been doing a heck of a lot of interdimensional shamanic journey meditations. So I hope that you have been enjoying the meditations that we've been doing live. And I also hope that those of you who are subscribed have been practicing the interdimensional meditation practice. It's fairly simple and it's deceptively simple. But I wanted to talk to you today about some of the effects that I have experienced. So I guess first I just again want to talk about the basic practice again. And I'm very curious to know what other people's experiences are who are doing it. And for me, the practice seems to be it doesn't have, let me just be clear. I don't have to do what I'm about to describe, but I find that it helps. And that is when you leave your body, as we talk about in the shamanic journey meditation course, and you go out through the Earth's atmosphere. I find that to be helpful at the very least in terms of my mind, but energetically, I do feel some things. It's important to, at the very least, believe that you have left 3D space-time. I think this is important. I've been doing this on a daily basis and experimenting with it, and the conclusion that I've come to is that there is a definite dimensional difference between 3D and where the higher dimensional beings are living, obviously, and where the energy goes that is kind of like the control room for creating the third dimension. And it's a lot like in the movie The Matrix, or one of the later movies where he, ends up with the architect, and he's in this room with the architect who's doing all kinds of stuff, seemingly behind the scenes. And that is my experience of a lot of what happens when I go into the other dimensions. It can be very deceptive. I think a lot of people can tap into the higher dimensions without even realizing it, because it can be seemingly very simple. And as you know, when you're interacting with higher dimensional beings, they communicate telepathically, and you're not going to hear voices. Well, actually, I don't know. They may communicate with different people in different ways. I get the feeling that this is a new practice. I get the feeling that this is something that human beings have not done before. To be able to consciously choose to go in and out of higher dimensions, I don't think this is something that human beings have done in the past. That is the feeling that I've had with them. And that is the feeling that I have, because the experiences that I have, I can't find anywhere else. I can't, if I look around at the way other people describe meditations, if I look at every single other meditative experience that I've had throughout my, 30 years of spiritual practice, I haven't run into anything that's even remotely like this in terms of the way the energy feels. But again, I'd be very interested to know what happens to most people. For me, the messages that I have gotten are that they have I believe, pushed me into an arena that either not many humans have gone to, or maybe nobody's gone to. I don't know. I know that sounds grandiose, but there's just, there's really nobody that I can talk to who understands it unless they've done this kind of meditation. And then I find people have some similarities, but it is so bizarre and so strange. Now, not the meditation itself. When we do these live meditations, they're not that big of a deal. You just are going through a shamanic journey meditation like you would any other time. But for me, when the meditations really take off, I'm talking around the energy that I feel. I've talked about it before. But the amount of energy that is generated, and it's usually in my heart center, the amount of expansive, intense energy that is created in my heart center, I've never felt anything like it, ever. And the end result is that I end up with more energy in my body than I've ever had. So if I, literally 10 minutes or 20 minutes of interdimensional meditation will result in me having more energy in my body than if I've done an hour of the spirit fighting. The feeling is a little bit different, but the amount of energy is the same. But what I've been doing lately is I've been teaching some of it to you guys. I'm going to teach more in the Interdimensional Shamanic Journey Meditation course, which you can subscribe to at thunderwizard.com. But what I've been doing is I've been actually seeking to change reality. So when I go into a meditative state, I will leave Earth and I will just assume that my interdimensional guide is there. Sometimes I feel him, sometimes I don't. I just assume that he is there. And if there's a lot of energy, because lots of times I'll get what I call pages. Remember when we had pagers? It's not a text. A text is, you get a text, but a pager, it beeps, beep, 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 beep. And I'll get like what I call pages. I'll just be going around doing whatever, and there will just be a huge amount of energy that will start to pulse within my heart center. It's usually very blissful but intense energy, and most of the time that means that something's going on. I just assume that I'm getting a page, hey, come and talk to us. And sometimes they have very specific messages that they want to express. Sometimes they will already, if I go lie down and just close my eyes, they're immediately there. And they're like, we're already here. We've been waiting for you. And they come into my 3D space and telepathically communicate. Other times I'll feel this intense energy and I will leave Earth's atmosphere and I will float around Earth, and I'll say, did I get a message from you guys? Did you guys want to talk? And then I'll get a message from my guide who says, yeah, come with me. I want to show you something. And it'll take me to different parts of the universe and show me all kinds of different things. And then there are times when I just sort of have the universe to myself, where I will still have a lot of energy pulsing through me, and I will want to accomplish my own goals. So I've been doing it with you guys where we go to the sun and we look at Earth and we send energy to Earth. I've done that with you a few times. But I also go into a place, there's a place that seems to be like in between the, what's that word? The horizons. Like there's a place in between the horizon out in space where you just go in between the dimensions, and it's, I don't know what it is, but it's this place of intense light. And there are different like rooms in there that I can go into. And one of them is you can go in there and start playing around with your timeline. This is what I do anyway. And I find that either one of two things is happening. either I am discovering where the interdimensional power is, because I will feel huge amounts of energy coursing through my body while I'm off, changing timelines. It happened, I first learned how to do it during the first hurricane. I was very uncomfortable because the hurricane was bearing down straight towards me. The eye of the hurricane was coming straight towards my home, and I was very uncomfortable with that. And so in meditation, I went and I left my body and I went out above the hurricane, and I started, mentally sending energy to the hurricane to change course. And I felt huge amounts of energy. The more that I went and tried to move the hurricane, I would feel huge amounts of energy. And I had no idea if any of it was working or not. And I did that, and then the next morning, a being showed up and said, your meditations have worked. And then I found out that the hurricane had in fact completely shifted course. It was going in one direction, and it shifted very drastically and basically missed me. And I thought, that's an interesting experience. But what I held on to was the power that I felt while I was doing it. And so what I'm experimenting with when I go off and I try and, act like, a god or something, what ends up happening is that I stick with the practices and the techniques that give me a huge amount of power. When I can feel the energy flowing through me, I assume that I'm accomplishing something. So I go in there and I play around with timelines. I go and I try and change the course of where we're going. I try and do things like we do in our meditations, where we send energy to Earth to shift the consciousness of people on Earth. And of course, I communicate with other beings, and there's a lot of energy that happens then. One of the other things that happens is that energy beings, if you allow them to, will want to do energy work on you. So they'll want to go in and shift energies around with you. They may want to open up energy centers or chakras. I can only speak for myself. Again, I would love to hear other people's experiences, but I've had very many experiences with people in my family who have passed away. And in fact, there was a relative of mine who passed away a few months ago, and I was told about it a couple of weeks ago. And then I was talking with one of my relatives, and I found out, sure enough, that person had passed away right at the time that I was told they had passed away. So these things are starting to line up, that this isn't nothing. We're connecting to something. And the hardest part is to accept that the reality that we stumble through in the third dimension is actually the dream state. The real, true reality is in the higher dimension. And if we can, in our minds, shift it so that the higher dimensional energy is the true reality, and this 3D is the dream. The challenge is that we end up having to fight against our own desire to gaslight ourselves, because we feel, and we have been programmed to believe, that anything that happens in the spiritual realm is pure fantasy. And this doesn't mean that we can't get lost in our own unconscious fantasies. That is still a very real thing. So this is why this experimental kind of meditation can be interesting and confusing and all the rest of it. But my suggestion to those of you who really want to make something out of this, if you want to start having more power, and really, I wish I could describe what this higher dimensional energy feels like, but if you would like to have more of that, it's going to be important for you to initiate that, to do these meditations, and reach out to higher dimensional beings and really start working with that on a regular basis, as well as continue to do the energy practices here. I think probably one of the only reasons that I'm able to do it to the extent that I can is because I've spent 30 years opening up my meridians and my energy centers, doing all the stuff that I teach on the lightning qigong. And again, if you're watching this channel and you're not subscribed, I don't understand why you come onto my channel. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's inexpensive, and it is the most powerful energy teaching in the history of planet Earth. I don't get it. I don't get why people come on the channel and won't do the practice. Nevertheless, I can't force you to do anything. But I recommend that if you want to be able to be proficient at this new, I believe this is a new technology, a new spiritual technology, and I think those of us who are doing it, we are the we're the trailblazers. We are the people who, maybe people look back on us in 100 years or 1,000 years and talk about way back in 2023 when those humans were just learning how to interdimensionally journey and meditate. If you want to be one of those people, I've already given you the techniques. If you really want to learn it, you can go and subscribe to the Interdimensional Shamanic Journey Meditation course. So I don't really have much else to say, but I am interested in your questions. If you have any questions about anything, I'll be happy to respond. If not, I'm happy to make it a short video because I'm pretty wiped out. Vincent says hello. You know Vincent. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, one of my Vedic astrologers. You can see all the stuff he does right there. Same thing with Thundra, THUNDRA.thunderwizard.com. She's one of my astrologers and a shaman in her own right. Vincent says, honest feeling. I've been doing summoning the immortals plus CE5 plus 12-step prayers, and I feel peace and self-acceptance. Every so often during the day, I'll get a feeling of how loved I am. That's a sign of something that you're connecting. This is when I talk about I'm in continuous communication with these higher beings. This is what you just described sounds like what I live 24/7. If I'm doing something they like if I'm making a video that they like, or if I'm, doing something in my life that they like, I will get, jolted with this very blissful, intense energy that will flow through me. Sometimes the energy just flows through me. Like, for instance, if I'm writing a book, or if I make a video, what I find is, and if, sometimes when we do these group meditations, I will be, after the video, I'll be doing something else. Maybe a half hour later, I will just get this flood of really powerful energies. And it's the feeling I get is that they've, word has gotten out. Oh yeah, that Mahadeva guy just did something and it did this to the timeline. And then they want to come and say, good job, thank you. They say thank you a lot. They like to thank us when we do stuff. So that's what I'm getting the sense from you there, that when you're doing all of that, they want to support you. If you're doing CE5, you open up an interdimensional communication with them. And normally if we haven't done CE5, that communication is there, but it is so muted that most people don't hear it. They don't experience it. But when you keep doing the shamanic journey meditations and the CE5 meditations, you create an interdimensional connection. As I said, you become an anchor for the higher dimensions, and then they can send you positive energy and you'll feel it. It'll go more directly straight into your body, as opposed to you get some sort of intuition. Most of the time, people kind of get an intuition And that's the best that we can get in terms of communicating interdimensionally. So if you like it, keep doing the work. Timothy Zoll, honest feeling experience. After doing energy work during meditation, I was met with Kachina and babushka doll-like beings. I don't know why, but it was surprising, unexpected, and felt blissful. Well, so that's interesting. You should do some research on Hopi deities, because the Hopis are the ones that carry the prophecies about the star people, and they have been very accurate in terms of where we're headed, and they've been very accurate. The interesting thing about their prophecies is that, unlike the Bible, where there's like this one prophecy, this is going to happen, they don't have that. They have a prophecy that can branch off into different prophecies depending on what actions we take. So they'll say, if in the future humans do this, then this will happen. And if they do this, then this will happen. And they're the ones that have said that we are moving from the age of the animal to the age of the human. And so those Kachina dolls are actually extraterrestrials. I don't know why they come in that form, but these are the star people. And this is, when you have some of the most powerful spiritual lineages like the Hopi are considered like the elders of Native Americans. And if I understand their religion, it's very centered around connection with the star people. So I would ask, if they're coming to you, there's probably a reason for it, and I would ask. I don't know much about the babushka doll-like beings, but there's something there, and I would recommend that you keep investigating it and see where it takes you. It's just such a bizarre place to be in. When it dawns on me how bizarre my life is, it makes me wonder, I don't feel like I've lost my mind. I don't feel like I'm psychotic or delusional, but the stuff that I experience on a daily basis now is just so far removed from anything I thought that was normal. It's just amazing. Well, I don't see any more questions, and like I said, I'm pretty wiped out, so I'm happy to make this a short video. So that's it. I hope to see you guys. I will be uploading more interdimensional meditations for you. And if you have any thoughts or questions, you can leave those on the video comment sections. And if you have a question that I like, I will make a video about it. Okay, guys, I hope you're doing well. Thanks a lot. I will see you all very soon. Take care.